Good morning, Lance. Thank you so much for joining me and taking time for this interview for our upcoming SCORE E3 Small Business Conference. To start with, tell me a little bit about what got you to where you are now and why you want to be a part of this conference.
I was actually on the organizing committee for the first E3 conference that we put on and was a speaker at that. And it was just such a good experience to be able to bring together business minds and those resources for our community and just be able to share knowledge and help take different entrepreneurs at various stages and propel them forward.
Absolutely. I think it's an exciting and important thing because there are so many resources that entrepreneurs just don't know about. You have the passion and the drive and all of those things to start your business, but this is a really good resource to find out about all the things that I wish I would have known whenever I started.
Yes.
Yeah. What's the most exciting thing about this one for you?
It is so exciting to be able to speak on, the big stage in front of everybody and have all of the attendees at once in the same sessions. The breakout sessions are nice, but I know when I go to conferences, I see, oh, there's this and this. I want to attend both things and hear about both topics and get to meet both speakers, but it's at the same time, and there's only one of me. So having the opportunity just to see everybody together, I think it's exciting.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So for people who don't know, tell us a little bit about specifically what you do.
I am a business consultant with the Missouri Small Business Development Center at Missouri State University, housed here at eFactory downtown Springfield. And so I spend a lot of my time consulting one-on-one with clients and businesses across 15 counties. And in addition to that, we run a few different programs out of here, experiential learning, where we take those clients and match with students on the Missouri State campus to be semester-long projects and help guide learning in a very practical way. And we also have growth programs that are statewide that I help manage for some of the larger companies and helping them get into the next stage where they are bringing in more jobs and more revenue to the community.
That's
But
great.
my job's completely focused around helping businesses grow and succeed.
That's really great. So I'm sure people come to you at different stages in their business, different levels and that sort of thing. But is there a common thread that you see so much that you just kind of want to maybe throw something out there, something that people tend to come to you a lot, a little tidbit of advice you could give us?
I see such a wide variety of businesses, and those who are coming in the very early stages are looking for really help defining who they're trying to reach and what that message is or what the value that they are providing to those people are. And that's one of the things that I really wanted to focus in on this talk that I'm giving at E3 is how do you really connect with that target market, understand who they are, but then start to empathize with them, understand how they want to interact with you, how they interact with the world around them, and then take those elements, build it into your product, build it into your service so that you are better equipped to serve them and make a profit or advance your mission while doing so. That's a common thread that I see among those newer businesses. When I'm looking at some of the more experienced businesses, some of the larger businesses that have been around a while. There are some that are third generation that I'm working with. And there's a lot of common struggles, but one that I see most often is that idea of attracting the right employees, finding a good workforce. And so that is something that I've spent a lot of time doing research on and just helping guide companies on how they could better find those employees and keep the ones that they have already, because really it's a lot cheaper to keep the people that you have and just move them around so they're in the correct spot instead of trying to bring in new ones.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, both of those things that you're talking about have to do so much with as entrepreneurs. It's easy for us to stay in our little fishbowl. And when we're starting out, we see things from our perspective. And so we may not realize the demographic that's there for our actual customer base. and may not be able to see outside of that. And the same thing with employees. We tend to, because we spend so much time in our business, it may be your friends' kids that you're always hiring, or something
Mhm.
where you're not getting really maybe the expertise that you should be.
Absolutely. Yeah, and just bouncing off of that idea, we do as entrepreneurs, and I've started several businesses and have that entrepreneurial mind, and you make the assumption that your target is going to be like you, um, more times than not. And so you assume that everything that you like is what your target likes, every way that you want to interact with products or services is the way that your target wants to. And it's a good place to start the assumption. But if you just stay there, you miss so much of how people actually want to interact, and you miss some of the needs and some of the, more importantly, the reasoning behind why their needs are different than what you assume that they are. And so it's so important to just step away from your assumptions, use them as a starting point, but really jump in and find out from the people that you want to serve what they actually want.
Yes, absolutely. We tend to think so much out of our own pocketbook or budget or life experiences or whatever it is, and we can completely miss a really great target demographic for ourselves if we only think through our own lens. So I think that's so important to have that
Mhm.
outside perspective. So I have a question. What is a book that has been important to you, or even a couple, but this doesn't have to be on business necessarily. It can be just something that has been impactful in any way. But what's a book that you would recommend to people?
I I have so many on my recommendation list, but my absolute favorite is Simon Sinek, Start with Why.
Ah, yes.
And I am probably falling into that optimist state of mind outlook that he falls into, but understanding your why is so important. It's what, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, can drive you through the really hard times that everybody experiences. So understanding that why is critical as business owners, but then just in life in general. Having your why and having your purpose is what leads you through really difficult times that can help lead you through periods where things don't seem to be going as well. But knowing that purpose and moving towards a greater goal is so beneficial. And I love the way that Simon Sinek articulates that. And taking that a step further, not just understanding your why, but understanding the why of your customers can help you better relate to them, better serve them. And so I think just that whole concept is so important. So if you have not read that book, Simon Sinek, Start with Why, um, absolutely recommend it.
Yeah, that's a great one. And especially when you're talking about the why of your customers, it's important to know kind of what that, a buzzword, the pain point or whatever it is, the problem that you're really solving for them, because that's what we are ultimately. We're problem solvers in a lot of what
Yes,
we offer. So that's really great.
absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have a quote, a mantra, any sort of thing like that that seems to follow you around or mean something to you?
Oh, okay. So there's one that I heard from, I'm trying to think of who said it. So I will just share this quote without giving attribution because I cannot think of who originally said it. But
Hmm.
it is a question that I've started asking myself as I examine new projects and things for me to be involved with. And it's a good thing for me to um, pose to clients and potential business owners or current business owners. But it's, are you committed or just interested? And the
Mm.
first time I heard that, it's like, that's a really interesting way to look at it because I'm interested in so many things, way too many things to commit to. So what are the things that go beyond just interest and actually excite you enough that you want to take the time and commit and move forward with?
Yeah. Oh man, that kind of hits home for me. I have a tendency to start learning a language or something like that, and I get really excited about it. And I'm like, oh, now we're into maybe conjugating some verbs and stuff. I don't know if I'm committed. I was interested.
Yes. Oh yeah, I have so many projects that I've started and am very interested in for a short period, and then those projects get pushed aside, and I have another very interesting project to work on.
Yeah, yeah. Got to keep something in front of you there to
Mhm.
distract you. So when it comes to entrepreneurs, we do get really wrapped up in our work a lot. It's common that it becomes just kind of a through line to everything that we do. So separating ourselves from that can be hard. What is something that you do or that you might recommend to some of your clients to do to decompress?
That is a good question. It's people compartmentalize in so many different ways. And I hear people who focus on the work-life balance. I hear people who focus on healthy work-life integration. Um, the method, it can vary so much, but really it's being intentional on stepping outside of the business. And that's not just you're not in the office for a day, but that's your turning on an autoresponder. You're not checking
Mm.
messages. You try to step away and not think about it. It's something that, yeah, even as an employee, I think is important, but especially if you are the one running a business, taking the time to step aside and, be it a week, be it just a couple days, but find a way to completely get away and unplug, because that unplugging and taking yourself out, it gives you time to focus, to think about things differently. And yeah, you'll probably spend the first day, maybe the first couple days worrying about what's going on and is everything, blowing up without you, how many messages are in the inbox. And if you can stop long enough to where that's not a worry anymore, be that a couple days or a week, that gives your mind just that the freshness and the clarity, so that all of the struggles and the problems that you're trying to deal with have a better solution, because you're coming at it from a different angle and you're coming at it from a place of not being stuck in the day-to-day routine, but from a place of I have space to breathe and focus.
Yeah, that's so important. And I think, that involves a lot of clear communication between the owner, the employees, the family, the coworkers, anybody else in those conversations and emails and interactions that you can have off business hours. So yeah. So if you had just the ability to invite some of our attendees from your perspective, from what you're going to say, anything else that you want to add? I want to just give you a moment or two before we wrap up to invite people, give them any additional information that you feel like is pertinent, and make sure they know what they're coming to hear from you.
I would love to see people come to E3. I think there's so much opportunity to learn from some great speakers and hear a wide variety of topics. What I'm really focusing in on is a method that a lot of people might not be familiar with. So human-centered design and design thinking is something that happens a lot in product design, in architecture, and sometimes in web design, but it's not taught in business schools typically. It's not something that you would necessarily come across as you are watching LinkedIn learning videos or trying to understand how to operate a business. But this idea of human-centered design and the broader process of design thinking allows you to really understand deeply who your customer is, what they need to accomplish, why they need to accomplish that, how you can best serve them, so that you are building your products or your services tailored to their needs and setting yourself up to be more successful in the process. But really, ultimately, you are doing a better job at reaching and serving the people that you created the business to reach in the first place. So I'm so excited to share this method that so many people might not be aware of, but it can help in so many different ways drive your business and create products and services that really fill needs in your customers' lives.
I love that. That is, and you are right, that is intensely important. I think business owners can spend the first several years of their business just trying to figure that out when you're giving them a template for it right there. And given the number of years that a lot of new businesses don't even make it past 1, 2, 3 and then 5,
Mhm.
you're giving them a huge opportunity for a jump start there. So I think that's really great. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we wrap up?
I would say if you are on the fence about coming to E3, just do it. Take time to step away, block the day off on your schedule. It will be worth coming.
Thank you so much, Lance. I look forward to seeing you on May 6th at the E3 Small Business Conference put on by SCORE. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
Yeah, Tiffany, thank you very much. Look forward to the conference.
All right. See you there.